says, Mrs. Stavo, what's up, yo? And she then says, we've been working tirelessly in response to Mrs. Ventura's testimony. The judge then says, Mark. Now, Mark is supposedly the lead, right? Even though we haven't seen him really do any work other than address the judge, he hasn't cross-examined any of these witnesses, okay? The judge says, Mark, I thought you were going to take this off my plate, right? The judge did have a conversation with Mark at the beginning of the trial. Mark starts to say, this is Mark Agnafilio, says, I will keep trying, but this is the main witness, Judge. She stands by herself. We've been doing this all night until 3 in the morning. We flagged exhibits for them, meaning the prosecutor. Slavic then says, there are 24 exhibits that the government has objections to. They're listed in the chart. The judge says, just the one in the chart. Again, these are judicial documents. They're not going into the public docket. And yeah, okay, cool. So now it looks like they get past those issues rather quickly. They say bring the jury in, and the jury then enters the court. Obviously, Cassie is entering the court as well. Cassie's sworn in. The jury is sworn in, and basically they're beginning. So this is the start of Cassie being cross-examined. So it's like they say, Miss Ventura, did you love Diddy? She said, I did. They said, for 11 years, did you take care of him? She said, in some ways. Estavo then says, did you call him larger than life? She then says, I did. Okay. All right. Now, again, we're going to be waiting about 2 to 3 minutes between every update. At times, he's able to type. I don't know how he's able to type this in court. We learned yesterday that they're taking your phones when you walk in the court. So when you walk in the court, they're taking your phones. So somehow he's able to scribe this, and I think he has a special access because he's fought so much cases of lack of transparency and media privilege. He's always in SDNY, which is that court, that federal court, and he's fought he's raised so many motions and fought so many cases, especially against the UN, the United Nations, that he's allowed, or I don't know how allowed, but he has some type of either carve out or he has some type of device, right, that he could tweet all this out. So we really only have one source, which is him, until the other people who are in there taking notes, they come out of the courtroom, and then we could go to a couple of the different sources and see what they're saying. You get what I'm saying? So until then, we really only have this. And by the way, this is not only for us. NBC News, Law and Crimes, CNN, E! News, they're all using this guy. Everybody's source is this guy because no one is allowed to have a phone or electronic device in there to be able to give their own versions. You're allowed to take your notes, pen and paper. That's it. So we'll be waiting. Okay. It says, others called him Diddy or Puff Daddy, but you called him Sean, right? She said yes. Gustavo says, you knew a version of him that the world couldn't see, right? Then the AUSA says, objection. The judge says, overruled. Ventura says, in what ways? Now, I think we're watching how Gustavo is trying to set this up. She's establishing, you loved him, you viewed him a certain way. We don't know where she's going yet, but clearly this is the strategy to set up what we're anticipating to be a long cross-examination process of Cassandra Ventura. Remember, Diddy affectionately used to call her Cece, which stood for Cassandra Combs, even though we could tell he had no plans to get married to her. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, can't stop, won't stop, huh? Yeah, we're going to see how this is. Let me tell you this. This all-star lineup, if not for the result, we don't know what the result of this is going to be. But what Diddy is paying for all these lawyers to be here on trial, all the paralegals, investigators, the ancillary people, administrative people, that's what comes with every time you hire one of these people that come from a high-powered firm. You're going to get access to their paralegals. You're going to get access to their administrative people. So you're compounding a team that is scouring. Like, if they're all, you got to remember, right at this moment, they're working 24 hours. A lot of lawyers work off billable hours, right? Word to my man PBD, because this is true. I know, because I see the bills. when I get on the phone with my attorneys for 20 minutes, they charge you for an hour. So when you see, like, what the fuck? A $1,200 phone call? What the fuck? We just talked for 20 minutes. It is what it is. Diddy got 9 lawyers. They're also charging top dollar. Not only because they're going to charge a premium as Diddy. Brian Steele just came off dropping a smooth 81 points. He's charging top dollar. Mark Agnifilio is dropping top dollar. You have Tenny. You have all these other people. But also, then you got to think about it. Diddy's paying for a PR firm. Diddy's hemorrhaging cash right now. Not saying he doesn't have it. He did liquidate a bunch of things. And I think he prepared a war chest. Remember, he was trying to sell the plane, trying to sell the house. He also got a new mortgage. He refinanced, so he took some equity out to get liquid that he could start paying some bills because he knew there ain't no more Ciroc or there's no more Diageo deal. The music industry shit still pays him, but yo, you might need some excess of cash to shut some people up, to do whatever. And trust me, there's investigators out the ass. There's lawyers out the ass. I would imagine this trial is probably costing him, gotta be I gotta imagine $100K a day. This is gonna be this is gonna be really one of those. If you ask me, this is just. I know I paid to. I have good lawyers. They're top tier, but these are not only top tier. They're celebrity lawyers. They're what you call super lawyers. So then you got to put that rate, put it plus another rate. Yes, I'm pocket watching how much Diddy's spending. Yes, it's a lot. So anyway. And what I was saying is that they're working through the clock. They're working 24 hours, right? They're telling you we work till 3 a.m. Estavo says, you kept coming back to him for 11 years, didn't you? Cassie says, I wouldn't say coming back. That's going to be interesting, chat. Was she voluntarily returning, or was Diddy forcing her to come back? That's going to be important. Estavo says, you believed he loved you too, didn't you? Ventura says, yes, I did believe he loved me too. Stavo then says, so when he cheated on you, did it hurt? Ventura says, not every time. Interesting answer. Not every time. Chat, you get where they're kind of going with this? They're kind of going with, I feel like the trajectory right now is, Cassie, stop the fucking bullshitting. You know you voluntarily kept coming back to this shit. You had many chances to leave. You had many chances to get out. You even admitted you dated other people. You could have ran away. You could have went to the police. You could have did all these things. This whole idea that you were scared of him, or you were scared that he might do something to you in Kid Cudi, so you went back to him. That don't make no goddamn sense. You was loving that lifestyle, wasn't you? Keep it 100. That's where they're trying to get to. Now, you got to let the woman do it. Can't let a pit bull like YSL Steel handle that, right? Cool. Here we go. Estavo says, bring up this defense. Exhibit, and they're bringing up an exhibit now. The AUSA says, objection, which we're going to hear a lot. Because remember, you have to enter some of these things in evidence, and they're not in evidence. And remember, there's 400 new exhibits that supposedly the defense wanted to do. The judge says that's true. That's not in evidence. So because it's not in evidence, they could have her refer to it, but they can't put it up on the screen for the jury to see. It says, Miss Ventura, just read it to yourself. Why did you send this message? She says to let him know I was going to dinner. Okay? All right. We're going to see, Chad. Yeah, this is going to be the teetering point today. And I'm so sad I'm going to have to miss the second half of the day. But this is going to be the teetering point for this case, because if they start to break Cassie and they basically turn her statement yesterday or her testimony yesterday, which came across as I was hopeless, helpless, and I was down bad. I didn't know how to get out. I didn't know I was being controlled. And this guy made it feel like I was pursuing his love, but all the while he was just controlling me and he was just sex trafficking me, right? She did a good job yesterday of kind of putting that out there. She ended it with a drop mic moment. It's the pain I felt. That's why, and it was supposed to preemptively, respond to, because there's going to be a section where they say, yo, why the hell did you wait 5 years to bring up a book and ask for $30 $30 million. Why'd you wait 5 years? If you were that hurt, this and third, keep it 100. You were broke. And she wants to say, no, I tried to kill myself during the 5 years. I was hurt. This shit fucked up my life. I didn't want to live. And when I couldn't figure out any other avenue to deal with it, that's when I brought up the book. The fact that I got $20 million later and I did sue, it just kind of happened. But none of this is driven by the fact that I'm not with him anymore and I'm not in that lifestyle and I might have some monetary needs. It's all because I was a victim and my life is ruined forever because Diddy had dozens, actually, well, she said hundreds of instances, but we don't know, at least dozens of men ejaculating on her and peeing on her. Okay? So let's see. Right. It says, what was going on in these messages? What was going on when these messages were sent? She says, I'm not sure. Estavo says, what was going on in your relationship then? She said it was early. We were loving. Estavo says, I offer it. AUSA says, objection. Being offered for the truth. The judge actually rules with Estavo, saying overruled. Now, this is going to be a whole back and forth game the whole time. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 20 or 30 minutes, the judge is going to call a sidebar because what's happening is that they're showing Cassie a bunch of text messages. Remember, they got all the messages. Both sides got all the messages. They picked out new messages. So they had messages that they wanted to bring up. So those were entered into evidence. They found more messages last night. And they're showing them pictures of the messages or it might be photos or whatever. And because it's not in evidence, the AUSA is going to say, nah, y'all ain't putting that on the screen for the jury to see. Hell no. Nah. And the judge agrees. Okay, it's not in evidence, but there's a loop, there's a go around. You could show it to her, and if she doesn't repeat what's on there, right, you could have a conversation about what she has seen. You get what I'm saying? So it's a roundabout way, and this is where the AUSA is kind of pushing back on this. Estavo is kind of trying to get her way, and the judge is going to either have to overrule or sustain it every single time. So now it's a real back and forth game. It's like tennis at this point. So we're going to see how this gets played, right? Now, also, you got to remember, Cassie said it was early in the relationship. She did testify very early in the relationship. Things seemed like pretty perfect. It's a honeymoon phase, chat, right? It's a honeymoon phase. 7 years in, she had claimed that she voiced frustration to him like, yo, all we do is freak offs. You get what I'm saying? It's like, y'all ever get with a new chick? And for that first like week or month, y'all together, y'all doing X, Y, Z, y'all all over the place, y'all outside. Man, you with this chick for 2 years, man. You're like, man, leave me alone. I'm playing the game. We ain't doing nothing for 3 weeks. That's just what it is. So it looks like they got into a routine, but at least up front, Diddy was probably whining and dining, showing her a good time. She was buying into this like, oh, this is going to be life forever. And 6 months into the relationship, or maybe a year, she gets introduced to this idea of freak-offs. They do a freak-off once. And I would imagine Diddy didn't say, let's do it again the next day. He probably chilled 2 months later, maybe knowing freaky-ass nigga Diddy. He probably waited like a good 2 weeks and then be like, all right, let's do it again. And then it probably got more and more frequent, and they stopped doing all of the other things that she probably was interested as, like, you remember she was a 22-year-old girl at that point. Now, her life was all revolving around the freak-offs, and she tells him 7 years later, like, yo, bro, all we're doing is fucking. Like, what are we doing? Right? Now, this is where I'm going to ask you guys. Do you think this constitutes sex trafficking? Because what I think what Diddy was kind of doing was like what a lot of guys do to a certain extent. I'm not saying every guy does what Diddy does. As things became more mundane later in the relationship, and all they're doing is freak-offs, Diddy is starting to almost like let her know, don't worry, like, yo, you're Cassie Combs. Like, almost giving her that false hope. Like, nah, don't worry about that. We finna get married. Like, we gonna lock in. And that's the type of thing that I believe she was always having that hope that she was gonna either have kids for Diddy. You know, we heard Roger Bond say that she would ask other people to be like, yo, could you try to bring it up to Sean about getting married to me or having a kid with me? Like, she wanted that. So Diddy realized how desperately she wanted that. And I guess maybe the thirst of her wanting a career also kind of started to dwindle because Diddy was killing that opportunity. Like, Diddy literally killed her career. It's pretty much facts. Now, you could make that argument and say, well, he gave her a career. That's probably. Did she have that Me and You song before Diddy? I think she did. She had it with Ron Leslie, ain't she? Anyway, let's see if we got another tweet. So what I took from the "it was early, we were loving" is that she was like, that's a honeymoon phase, right? Gustavo says, could you please read? Ventura says, I wrote, I love you. Smiley face, I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you, Cass. Now this is a good strategy to start out. How you claim you're getting sex trafficked? You didn't want to go to these places. You didn't want to do any type of freak offs. You were doing it against your will. But you're sending him messages saying, I love you. I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you. Now, again, there's still a way to look at this like, hey, she's being coerced. Even though she says this, she's saying this under duress. But whatever. I'll digress on that point. Let's keep it going. Gustavo establishes that this is a 2009 email. And AUSA says, objection. Hearsay. The judge says, Gustavo, ask more questions, please. Again, you're going to keep hearing these objections. And I'm telling you, he's going to go to a sidebar eventually, or at lunch, they're going to argue more about, what's up with these exhibits, right? Gustavo says, from BlackBerry, what is BG? BG is baby girl. Okay? Baby girl. Okay. All right. One thing, and y'all tell me if this is game or maybe this was an attempt at control and manipulation. You let me know. Diddy would have these nicknames for her, and Diddy required her to call him these affectionate nicknames as well. For example, he would call her Cece. He would call her baby girl. She had to call him Pop Pop. Is that game, or is that a sort of control? Remember, the nickname Pop Pop comes from her grandfather's nickname, and he supposedly had asked her, what do you refer to your grandfather as? She says, well, I refer to my grandfather as Pop Pop. And he says, you should call me Pop Pop. Remember, Roger Bonds also told us that Diddy was having a conversation with Cassie's dad and checked Cassie's dad and said, I'm her father now. Is that game? Some player shit? Or is that control shit? Somebody said, nah, it's just being in a relationship. Okay. All right. Okay. Someone says they watch trafficking documentaries that happen in Romania. And he says, based on what he watches about those trafficking documentaries that happen in Romania and how sex trafficking works, he says he's seen similarities in this and he believes this is trafficking. Now, I don't know if it's the same laws. Remember, Andrew Tate also was accused of sex trafficking in Romania, and they accused him of using what they call the lover boy method. I don't know if that's necessarily in U.S. law where they could like use it in an indictment, but the lover boy method is kind of selling a dream. What regular niggas and players would call selling a dream. You tell a chick like, yo, I can't wait for you to have my kids. Yo, I can't wait till we get married. We're gonna buy a house, move in. We're gonna move to LA. We're gonna do this. Like, you soup her up so much, she's like, oh my God, take the pussy, whatever you want. I'll kiss your feet, whatever. Like, God, I just want that dream you done sold me. And then basically in the back of your mind, you'll be like, yo, bitch, we ain't never gonna get there. I'm just trying to get the box. That is a part that's seen as manipulation. And if it's done in a certain way, right, where you either extract money from that person or you extract just sexual services in a trafficking way, that manipulation there is something that prosecutors could use in making their case. You get me? But I've seen that in Romania. But I, just to be fair, I haven't covered much sex trafficking cases in the U.S. Like, we usually just do RICO shit, right? Or like gun cases or something. All right. Chat, everybody got a homeboy that sells a dream. You know what I mean? Like, he the type of nigga, he tell a girl he loved them third day in. Yeah, I love you, girl. Damn. Yo, I can't wait for us to have kids. You like, think it's only been a week. Like, when he telling her that. Yo, you my wife. Like, he don't even make the girl his girlfriend yet. He said, yo, that's wifey. He just start over promising. And women sometimes do fall victim for that, right? Or not necessarily victim, because I want to say, because I think women lie to men too. Like, some people also say, no, that's just lying, or that's just sometimes the honeymoon phase, like just saying shit you might not mean. It doesn't mean you're trying to manipulate, right? It's like you it's like you ever been in the middle of sex and say some shit you absolutely don't mean? And as soon as you get that post-nut clarity, if Shorty brings it up again, you're like, what? All right, we're waiting for the next tweet here, people. Okay. Cassie already had a boyfriend who was a producer when she met Diddy. She wanted Diddy money, so she left her man. Now, that is going to be a very interesting point, chat. The interesting point of Diddy's attorneys trying to make the argument to say, well, Cassandra Ventura is an opportunist. She's someone who chases the bag. She chases the check. She got a taste of the music industry lifestyle and what that opulence and, that rich lifestyle looks like when she got with Ryan Leslie. And every time she tried to choose up, she got introduced to Diddy. She tried to choose up. She did. At times when she thought Diddy wasn't doing it for her, she tried to go link with Drake. Remember, there was rumors she was about to sign to Drake. Then, after years of trying and these guys like understanding what she got going on and it wasn't going anywhere, she falls in love with another guy who probably sold her a dream as well. And then after realizing her game of musical chairs of chasing the bag has eroded, she's now suing, and this lawsuit turned into a federal case. I mean, that could be an angle, right? That could be an angle. You got to tie the part that the only reason why she's trying to get millions is because she's used to the lifestyle and she was chasing the lifestyle. She's just an opportunist. That's a defense angle, right? All right, I don't know why we're not getting another tweet yet. What's going on? What's going on? All right. Somebody say, yeah, F this Me Too shit, man. Well, here's the thing, too. I think because once we hear there's a potential victim, we have to treat it with kid gloves, right? Like, I see a lot of these chicks, I see a lot of these chicks on, like, social media. Now, this is before, like, Cassie's time, and I'm not saying Cassie's necessarily this. But, like, I see a lot of these chicks, they literally let you know what it is. If he can't buy me Dior, he Pior. Like, that's how they're running. So, later on, when they make any accusations, and you realize that their intent in the beginning was chasing money. Now, here's the thing. Is it reverse? And again, this might be a stupid point, but allow me to try to make it. If we're going to say that Diddy manipulated her by using her career and money over her head, right? And opportunities over her head to get whatever freaky desires fulfilled from this woman, is it also safe to say that this woman used the idea of, oh, I'm just looking for love, but in reality, she was looking for the bag? That's manipulation too. Now, granted, she is testifying that she loved him, but still, a lot of these guys who got the money, they just want a chick who's going to be loyal and love them and do whatever they want, right? That's what they're looking for. The women know that. The women give that perception, sell that dream, so they're selling the dream too, but really what the women want is the bag. They'd rather cry in a Rolls Royce rather than a Honda. You get what I'm saying? So maybe it's manipulation on both sides. They're both playing a game. Now, when we hear it in court, and because every time when we talk about, especially women, but especially anybody who could be a victim, you got to handle with kid gloves, it's kind of insensitive to say, well, you manipulated him too. You manipulated him saying you were loyal. You manipulated him saying X, Y, and Z. You were cheating too. So the same things you claim he was abusing you doing, you were doing it too. You put your hands on him. You cheated on him too. You did a bunch of those things, even left him for the trainer. Again, I'm just trying to throw out theories that maybe how people could perceive this. Now, do I think a jury's going to think about it in that way? No, I don't. All right, let's see if we get another tweet. Huh. Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, we haven't gotten a tweet in 10 minutes. Not too sure why. Okay, we just got one. Cool. Gustavo says, what did you write? Ventura says, are you hungry, Pop Pop? Is that weird to y'all? I guess you would. It's like when Kanye says, call me sir. I'm like, what the fuck? Ventura says, so Cassie says, you hungry, Pop Pop? That's the name for her grandfather, but she says that to Diddy. Gustavo says, and Mr. Combs wrote to you, we are so in love, we don't do anything else. Huh. How long has y'all been seeing each other? Now, maybe they were talking about sex or I don't know, but supposedly Diddy says, we're so in love, we don't do anything else. Ventura says this was 2.5 years into the relationship. So it's kind of establishing this pattern that, primarily, all you and Diddy did was fuck. Like, I get this whole manipulation shit, but you admitted that the early stage of the relationship, it was loving. You admitted that this was supposedly the time that the quote-unquote abuse ain't start. And Diddy's telling you, and you're calling him Pop Pop, he's buttering you up, but he's even telling you then, because later on, she does complain about it. She complains that all we do is fuck. All we do is freak offs. It looks like they're trying to establish that Diddy's saying to her, we are so in love, we don't do anything else. Like maybe they in bed or they just fucked or whatever. So I guess they're trying to tell her or establish, from day one, all Diddy was doing is fucking you. That's all he wanted to do with you. Fuck. And you were down with it. You were down with it in the beginning. And then at some point you switched up, but you had chances to leave. How did you get trafficked when you could have left? Remember, they started out the question by saying, you kept coming back. Then they said, okay, when was this in the relationship? It says early, we were loving. Okay, so y'all were loving, it wasn't abuse, bet. But it's early. In 2009, you said, I'll fly anywhere for you. This is 2009. That's what she said, I'll fly anywhere for you. Cassie's saying they were loving then. So you said you would fly anywhere for him because you love him so much. He's telling you, damn, all we do is fuck. He's not complaining, but he's like, damn, we're so in love. That's kind of all we're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't do anything else. I don't think, let me put that in context. He's basically saying, we just been fucking a lot, right? Because we're so in love, we don't really do anything else. And so how long y'all been seeing each other then? For 2.5 years. So I think they're trying to establish, like, there was no drastic shift from how Diddy first met her to what it ended up being. And Cassie had the opportunity to leave, but she didn't want to leave because of the lifestyle. She was chasing a check. She was chasing a bag. Again, for people who are just tuning in, I'm reading Cassandra's Ventura's cross-examination. We're about like 20 minutes in. Please note, if you hear me giving a scenario, I am playing devil's advocate to a certain extent, and also this is the defense time. So I'm trying to put some, meaning to what we're seeing in tweets. The tweets sometimes are dry. I'm trying to put some meaning to it, how the defense is trying to get it to play, all right? All right. Estavo says, please read this. And this is on 1364. I haven't talked to you at all. You don't even try. You rush me off the phone. I'm really hurt. I don't need your money. I need some attention. Estavo says, you wanted your special time with Mr. Combs. Ventura says yes. Okay. All right. Also, it's very interesting that they put this tweet in there because I guess they're gonna also. I'm pretty sure they're gonna juxtapose this to later on. Maybe Cassie. They're establishing that Cassie initially says, "I don't want money. I just want you," and maybe she changes that. You know, they're not gonna bring up after the relationship because the relationship is over, and clearly she wanted money then because she asked for $30 million. But maybe towards the end of it, she would ask for gifts in exchange for, you know, all right, listen, yo, I need a bag. Like, yo, we're going to Miami. We're going to do the hotel thing again. All right, I need a bag. And that might be a thing where they're saying, no, that's her coping and basically damn near being a little sex worker. LSW, as 50 would say. Because if you ask me, I think this probably started out as loving. And even if she did want the bag, only an idiot, you know, any chick who really want the bag, who gonna get the bag, don't tell you they want the bag. Like, they just get the bag. They get the bag by getting you, right? They realize you're the bag, they get the bag with you. The bad gold diggers tell you they want the bag. And then they usually get the small bag and get the fuck out of there, right? I could see a world where Cassie sees Diddy as this, not only the bag, but falls in love with him rather quickly. Diddy seems to be extreme with everything. Let's fucking go to Mykonos. Let's go to fucking Paris. We're staying in the best places. Like, she's seen a lifestyle that is above every other lifestyle in hip hop. She has security tail in her. She has assistants that she could order around. And this guy is the representative of that. She loves this guy. She wants him to value her like how she values him. However, over time, she realized he ain't going to be faithful. He got other hoes. And he's a super freaky ass nigga. And it probably erodes that love or whatever, and she turns it into damn near a transactional type of thing. Remember the Shannon Sharp shit? That girl wasn't asking Shannon Sharp for $25,000 a cheek when it just started. Is when it kind of erodes a bit, and she realized, oh, you're just gonna have other bitches. Oh, you're just gonna be disrespecting me. Oh, you're just gonna leak a video of you getting your dick sucked or you fucking on live. I bet. Well, buy me something, nigga. Now it's not about I just want your love. Whatever it is. Anyway, I might be reading too much into it and where this might go, but it is what it is. Okay, cool. All right, Chad. All right. So we are at. It's not 9:07. It's 10:07. I don't know why this is on Central Time. Okay. Yeah, 25 a cheek was crazy, right? But yeah, when we looked at the messages between her, it started out the same way. It started out, and I've seen this before. I've seen this with women with me. You first meet them, they're like, oh, I just love you. It's all about love. They catch you fucking two other girls, or they catch you like just being you. After a while, it then becomes, you start to see a little transactional, like that's the women disassociating at that point. They're like, all right, I'm gonna tolerate this shit, but I need this. You get what I'm saying? That's what's happening. Yo, I'm gonna tolerate this, but I need this. Just like how Shorty with Shannon is like, all right, you know, in the outside of, and I know some of y'all might be like, what are you talking about? Here, this is the reality of shit. If Cassie was with a regular boyfriend who brought another man in to fuck her, a sex worker, piss on her, and nut in her, and she wasn't with that, she's breaking up with him. A lot of times, these women know kind of a little bit, these bitches know what they signing up for, bro. Let me tell you this. When a woman signs up to be with like a rich, famous guy, you know you're going to get cheated on 30 times. Let me ask y'all a question. All my chat queens and all my chat niggas. If your girl cheat on you, how many are you going to let her come back? Likewise with the females. I'm really asking this to females. If your man cheat on you, how many times you let him cheat and keep letting him come back? In this celebrity world, you let the person come back all the time because you are not trying to lose that whole the trove of wealth or resources the person has, and that's why it gets transactional after a while. So that's why I'm saying we see this all the time. These people just go in for love, but over time it becomes $25K per cheek. Not necessarily $25K per cheek, but you see it becomes, yo, I need this. I need this. Because mentally, those women are saying, I need that to tolerate this. If I got to tolerate you fucking a bitch on live and doing that, I need some money. That's why you even hear some of these women online. Like, they'll be like, oh, yeah, did you hear Boston Richie girlfriend? He bought my forgiveness. Like, she used to be arguing with his side girls and be like, yeah, he sent me $30K. And you get to realize if there were some regular people that had regular jobs and didn't have that amount of money between them, that girl is not going online saying, bragging about how much she's forgiven him for cheating on her with the other woman. She would just leave. But there's a lot of money involved, right? I hope you guys understand that point. Okay. So Gustavo says this. You testified you told him, I love you so much, you make me a better woman. Cassie says, I definitely wrote those messages. Oh, shit. Yo, Alex Fine, you better get her. You better get her, gang. You better get her. Told me I definitely wrote those messages. What? You definitely wrote, I love you so much, you made me a better woman. Yo, Alex, get her. That nigga Alex probably sitting there like Suge Knight. Just cracking his knuckles like, yo, what the fuck? I would have dipped out of the courtroom after this. I definitely wrote those messages. Stavo says, you wrote, I can't wait until we have a baby of our own. You knew he has 6 children at that time, right? She says yes. What I tell you, chat, they're going to break it down. She's going to start crying in the worst way. Watch. They're going to break it down to her. Shorty, you just fell for the game. The nigga told you he was going to marry you, put a baby in you. You believed it. You were down for it. You wanted to do shit trying to get it. You could have left at any time. He wasn't lying. He did plan to have kids with you, but he realized you would cheat on him too. So he ain't want to have kids with you no more. You testified, you told him, I love you so much, you make me a better woman. She said, I definitely wrote those messages. You wrote, I can't wait till we have a baby of our own. So you could tell early on, she is interested in this idea. And by the way, don't we see this a lot? Like, chat, let's break this down to the skin and bones. We're seeing a pattern here. Young pretty girl gets with super wealthy or rich celebrity. I hate to bring up the Shannon Sharp shit, but I have to. Okay? We hear this idea, and they're getting with men who already have families. Shannon Sharp has 2 grown-ass kids. I think even older than Shorty, I believe. But we all hear about these women who then yearn to have a family with those guys. The woman was telling Shannon, I want to have your big black baby. Ventura is saying, I can't wait till we have a baby. So we're seeing a little bit of parallels in how, remember, she's probably 22, 23 at the time. Man, Diddy's 40, 45, whatever he was at that time. And she knew he had 6 kids. The pattern is these women get with a dude. They do fall in love. But a lot of times the love is represented by the power, the money, the status. You know, even if you want to call them a gold digger, you know, as I said, the stupid gold digger goes in and acts directly for the money. The smart one is going to have kids with you. They both of them are still gold diggers. One just knows you secure the bag with the child. You secure the bag with the child in the ring. That's the real bag secure. Really, the ring is no prenup. That's how you secure the bag. The dummy, the little stupid bitches on social media, they thought they secured the bag with a Chanel on they thing. Or, oh yeah, I'm driving a car. That shit can get repoed. So you see these women, they start talking or bringing up the idea of kids very early. Very early in the relationship. Diddy had 6 kids at the time. Kim Porter, I believe, was still alive. You think that Diddy was thinking about having kids with this woman who I think we could kind of deduce this was Diddy's fun girl, fuck object. Or as we learned pretty much yesterday or the day before, this was Diddy's beard, if you know that term. The person who could be the conduit and the middle person to hide his homoerotic desires. Diddy wanted semen. Cassie testified to that. She would scoop the semen out of her box and oil it into his nipples. Anyway, let's keep it going. It's interesting watching this strategy. Anybody watch football? What's your favorite football team? You know, in the beginning of a football game, when you have a great quarterback or you have a great offensive coach, you usually see they'll try a run, they'll try 2 runs to set up the play action. 40-yard pass, post route. Okay, cool. They'll do a few slant passes to set up a misdirection run by like Saquon to the out of bounds, not through the offensive line. If y'all get what I'm saying. So I think what's happening here, and I think we're looking for direction. I think what Estavo is doing is she's setting up a few things. She's setting it up. She ain't hit it's not Hail Mary. She ain't hit the play action yet. But the Patriots been down bad for a while. Yeah, setting up the baby oil play, right? I get it. So she's setting it up right now. But we, as we're watching all these tweets come through, we're trying to figure out where she's going. I feel like we have a good grasp. Here we go, though. So now, these messages about the freak off. Okay, look like she's about to do the play now. When you say, it don't matter to me, you mean weekend or weekday, either is fine. Oh, interesting. Ventura says that's what it says. So she's agreeing with the message. So it look like there's a message about the freak off where she says, you know, it doesn't matter to me, Sean. You mean weekend or weekday, either is fine. She says that's what it says. Estavo says, Mr. Combs says, maybe we can call Jules. Can you do it? She says yes. All right, chat. It's about to happen now. It's about to happen. They're about to lock in on her ass. So what they set up initially was Cassie even bringing up the idea of family, kids. Cassie saying and volunteering the idea of, Diddy, I want to be with you so much, I'll fly anywhere for you. Cassie, who seemingly is saying, hey, anytime, anywhere, any day, I'll be there. Just bring the baby oil. She was down for the freak off whenever. Wait, what? Says timeout. Where they're getting these texts from. Everyone's devices were seized, and there were subpoenas sent out to phone companies. They have all the text messages between them. Last night, so what happens is you enter text or you enter exhibits into evidence that you plan to bring up in court. Last night, after Cassie got finished with her her direct, they got out of court at 5. Diddy's defense team stayed up till 3 a.m. and came up with 400 more exhibits. We don't know if they're all texts, but these ones are texts. They're using these texts to counteract what she said yesterday. That's their goal. That's their first goal. And then they're going to go into their original plan of breaking her down. So these exhibits and text messages we're talking about, where you're saying where they're coming from, they've always been there. They pulled 400 more of them yesterday or last night or this morning, actually, at 3 a.m. Gustavo says there was an explicit message about you about the anticipated upcoming freak off. AUSA says objection. Now, the AUSA is tight. The AUSA has already brought up that they believe that Diddy's team is trying to do a trial by ambush, which means that they're trying to pop up in court with shit that they had no chance to be prepared for. Someone said this trial might be better reading it. Well, if we could watch it, it would have been crazy. Watching it would be insane. Especially if we could look at the faces of a few people. The faces of Diddy family. The faces of Alex Fine. The face of Diddy himself, of course. The six pack of white milk. You know what I mean? The white women who are all sitting at the prosecution table. The 9 lawyers huddled around Diddy. And obviously they would never show this, but the jurors. The jurors are seeing sex tapes, pornographic images. Like, you have to imagine some of these things are going to be super graphic. Do you ever see the pictures that got leaked of Cassie? There are rumors that some of these pictures and videos of Cassie that Diddy was taking would be sometimes after a multi-day freak off. Now, I want to give you the image of this. At the end of the day, it's still flesh and blood and skin, bro. Apparently, her vajayjay would be looking like a gaping hole after multiple and several big dick escorts done ran in there, and they have done, I don't know if they were sticking shit in her, but Diddy would have her spread out and would take pictures of the damage done. It just looks like a gaping hole. For whatever reason, he was into that. If you're on the jury and you're seeing this shit, like, it looked like after the freak off, it looked like she about to give birth. Like, whoa. Like, I see London. I see France. What the fuck? Chat, the face of the jury looking at something. This is why they got privacy screens up. Because there's some really sick shit you could be experiencing in this case. Go back to some of the pictures that got leaked. There's one where she's just laying back with her feet wide open. Yeah, y'all could Google it on the side. But I heard there's much worse pictures because remember, there's videos too. There was videos of her being penetrated by a dude. And then there's pictures afterwards where you got to imagine Diddy done fucked her maybe 8-9 times. Remember, it's days long. She's off all type of drugs. Diddy would have these guys beat the pussy up into submission, tenderize that bitch. One after the other. She got a UTI. She is in pain. God knows what else other, I think they did do a good job of, having some type of respect for maybe even other health ailments. Because if you think that a UTI is the only thing they caught up in them freak-offs, you're sadly mistaken. Remember, we have a prostitute who claims he contracted the herpes virus, and he claims it was during the freak-offs. So you put 1 and 1 together, and if you get 11, that's on you. But if you get 2, you know what you're talking about. So Cassie was, in her opinion, was forced to perform no matter what was going on. UTI, yeast infection, breakouts, whatever the fuck may have been the situation. And Diddy would have nigga after nigga after nigga. And at times, they said Diddy would say, they said, you can't send a boy to go do a man's job. They said Diddy would say, man, get out that pussy. It's my turn. It's my turn now on some Skip Bayless. It's my turn now. So he go fuck her for a bit. And then sometimes, apparently, he'd be on some extra freaky shit. He'd put a camera there and go watch it from the next room. You know what he was probably doing? He want to look at the man, not the woman. Come on now. But all of these things supposedly exist, and this is why when we talk about, someone says it's probably better reading it. Yeah, we get to do Sports Center shit here right? Like when I'm here, I get to do Sports Center shit. But if we could watch it, especially if we could see the faces of those people, we ain't even got to see the sex tapes. If you see Cassie with a fucking football size gaping hole after a 4-day long 24/7 freak off just ended, you might be like, damn, holy. Anyway, the judge says we're going to take a recess. I guarantee that recess is because, I keep telling you, they're objecting to everything. The AUSA feels like Diddy's lawyers are trying to ambush Cassie and ambush their case. Diddy has 9 lawyers, access to all the paralegals, and they came prepared. They came with 400 new shit today that they got from added on from yesterday. You know what Diddy's lawyers are saying to the AUSA? It's not like we went out and got this independently. You gave us this in discovery. You gave us, remember how voluminous the discovery was. Terabytes on terabytes of data. From security footage to not only that, but also gigabytes and gigabytes of just text messages. So there's a lot of text messages that won't get used. But now what they're going to do is they're going to go back and be like, oh, she did say this on a stand yesterday. Let's go find a message that correlates and it actually goes against what she just said. We're going to ask her about that. So they're going to come in every day. And I think the judges said, hey, listen, could you not show up every morning with like a bunch of new shit? They're telling the judge, how can we not? We're on defense. We're reacting to what was said yesterday. It's not like we're bringing some new shit that is just going to be us making our case. We're reacting to this witness and what they said. Now, granted, they shouldn't do it again for tomorrow because tomorrow, whatever you had going into today, you should have for whatever the rest of the time she's on the stand. If they do it for tomorrow, the judge is going to scold them, I think. So they're taking a break. They're taking a break here, people. They're taking a break.
In New York City.
Here we go.
Lisa, thank you so much for
move before where a defendant who's accused of something violent or heinous or something that's very, objected to by society has their family there. And so that's family support. That's important for the defendant. But at the same time, a jury can actually be turned off by that because they're saying, you did all these things. You're listening to this and you have the nerve to have your mother here. You have the nerve to have your kids here listening to what type of monster or
Let me grab some
animal
ice.
you
We'll
are.
grab some ice, okay?
What type of person are you? So that could turn off a jury. At the same time, you have family there, and it can also soften the way in which a jury looks at a person as they realize he's not just a monster or he's not a monster at all. He's a family man. He has kids. He has a mother, people who support him, despite all these allegations, despite these rumors, despite this case, despite this relationship. He raised kids that are here and they look good and they're minding their manners. Maybe he's not the person that he's being painted out to be by the government and the government's witnesses.
Lastly, before we take a 2-minute break here, because we've got a lot more to discuss as well. As we started off this interview, we played out some of the remarks that were made from Cassie's lawyer. Why is it that we haven't heard from Diddy's lawyer speaking outside to the media? Of course, everyone is paying attention to this case all around the world, trying to get any inkling of information as to what's happening inside the courtroom. Of course, we got a little bit from Cassie's lawyers today. What is it stopping Diddy's lawyers from making remarks on the behalf of their client?
Well, I could totally see Diddy's lawyers being hesitant to come out front and give a press conference or give remarks to the media by answering questions on the way to their car. Why? Because they could be posed with some very tough questions that they may not want to have to admit. So what does your client say about the video? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? It may cause more problems than necessary, and it may potentially tip their hand as to their strategy as to how they're going to deal with Cassie and the other government witnesses that are sure to come. So they may just be holding their cards to their vest, which might be a shrewd move given the amount of attention on the case and the highly sensitive nature of the testimony that was given today.
Absolutely. And we're just continuing to showcase some of this video footage that we've seen from outside of the courtroom so far this week. There's Diddy's other son, Quincy. They're entering the Sprinter van alongside the mother of his first child, I should say, Misa Hilton, another high profile individual, all crowding into there to support Diddy. Again, media has been all over this case. No cameras inside of the courtroom. Ultimately, before we step away for a 2-minute break and transition to some of those other topics, Adante, what do you?
All right, again, I just wanted to showcase some of the legal analysts continuing to talk about this case as well, but we are getting some major updates here regarding the cross-examination, and I want to bring this to your attention because this might be...
Joining us here on Live Now from Fox. What's the biggest takeaway? What did we learn today?
Can't hear.
Testimony that was given by Cassie Ventura. I was in the courtroom here on the 26th floor in the building you see right behind me, federal court here in Lower Manhattan, and all the tension was building all day long, hour by hour since early this morning. She's describing the freak-offs, hundreds of freak-offs that she says she had during the course of her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. They were happening almost weekly, lasting 1 to 4 days. They were taking drugs, and she said she developed an opiate addiction because she had to take downers in order to just numb herself afterwards. She was in physical pain. She had physical ailments like UTIs, but was still forced to, in her words, participate in these freak-offs. And then as her dissatisfaction grew with the freak-offs, and she was seeing very clearly that there was no way she was going to have anything
This is about
resembling
yesterday.
a normal, healthy family type relationship with Sean Diddy Combs, she started to try to get away from him and to build her own life independently. And then, Andy, she described how he threatened her with exposure of these very, very graphic videos that he had made of these freak-offs if she decided to try to leave him or to try to get away from him. And then there were also many beatings, frequent beatings. They showed in court today the graphic photos of the beatings, you know, the injuries that she sustained from those beatings. And then towards the end of the day, she even said that when she left Combs in 2018, she went to have dinner with him. Afterwards, they went back to her house to kind of finish things off, as she said, in a positive way, a friendly way. She says he allegedly raped her in her living room in her California home. So people, when one of the jurors it was just one thing after another, just one devastating emotional blow. And one juror, when they first saw those images of these freak-offs, which were not made public, which are under seal in the court record, so we can't even request them, was so graphic. She clutched her chest like this, like sighing like that. And then, you know, all of this is happening. Combs on one side, his supporters, his family on one side, her husband, her mother, and other family members for her on the other side. And she broke down when she described this sexual assault and said that this burden of everything she'd been through and all of these, you know, all of the inner conflicts she went through, like, I love him, but I can't stay in this relationship. I can't change it. I can't make it better. I have to get away. And that even in 2023, when she was now married to Alex Fine, who was in the courtroom.
By the way, you know what I think is going to be brought up? I think they're going to be, this is just me. I think they're going to try to picture it as Cassie did come in with love. Over time, she started taking advantage of the situation with Sean. She became more demanding, money hungry. And when she got to, like, because you notice in Cassie's testimony, we heard about all this stuff, pretty much a life of extravagance. We never hear about Diddy giving her no money, right? I think Diddy gave her some bread. And I think when she left Diddy, she had some bread. Not, you know, sometimes she probably thought the money was going to last. But if I'm Diddy's lawyer and Diddy used to give her money, I'm going to paint her out to be the person that, yo, Shorty was here trying to siphon off money from Diddy. She knew what it was. She was having a good time. They both were having a good time. He didn't mind giving her money. She manipulated him, though. When she got enough money, she got with the trainer. And then years later, after the money ran out, she came back for more. You got to make it seem like, you know, and I would show, yeah, Diddy gave her 30 grand here, 20 grand here, gave her 100 grand here, bought her this here. You got to show it that, because you have to address the idea of why did she leave? Because I think that's a good point for the prosecutor. She finally had enough. Well, according to Diddy's side, they're going to say, well, why didn't she have enough when she could have left 6 to 7 to, if the audio is choppy, please, you got to refresh. Refresh, gang. It's a YouTube thing. Just refresh. Please. If you could have left 4 to 5 times and you kept coming back, why didn't 2018 you just didn't come back? Well, you didn't come back. It's not because you were fed up and had enough. It's because you thought you done saved up enough money that you ain't need Diddy no more. You thought you saved up enough money, you ain't need Diddy no more. You dipped out on him, and 5 years later, you broke his joke again. Now you come back. He don't want you no more because you done had 2 kids. You done married the bozo that he hired to train you for the free calls. He don't want you no more. He want a new young ting. Come here, young Miami. It's your time to get peed on. Come on. Come in, girl. Come here, girl. Roping. Come in. Come in. All right? Real ass bitch don't give a fuck about some urine. You get what I'm saying? So Cassie comes back and said, man, I'm suing. I think that's a way for Diddy's lawyers to kind of set this up. You can't have a dude set it up like that. You got to have a Stevo, which is a woman, a white woman.
For her husband.
Or it sounds like that's like Spanish or Portuguese. I don't know.
Who's been very protective and supportive of her. They had already had 2 kids by 2023. She said that she turned to him one night. She just felt so burdened by everything that she basically said to him, listen, you can raise these kids on your own. You don't need me. I'm worthless. And then she tried to leave the house to go do self-harm, as she put it. And he stopped her and basically saved her life at that point. And then the final piece of bombshell testimony came when she revealed that she received $20 million to settle that civil suit that started this whole thing in November of 2023, Andy. So a tremendous amount there, and it was just getting more emotional and more intense throughout the day, as you can imagine, Andy.
I can only imagine what you were witnessing there inside the courtroom. And of course, as we noted, you noted that the jury, some of the lawyers, the judge can see some of these images of these freak-offs, the videos, the photos. You mentioned the Cassie's reaction. Diddy also apparently looked at some of these images in a binder. Did you witness that moment?
I didn't witness him looking at them. I saw the binder when the prosecution handed the binder to the judge in order to work out this deal, because the thing they did not want to have happen is to show these videos and have them get out publicly and embarrass people and cause further trauma, because, you know, she is very clearly trying to heal. She went through all kinds of therapy for trauma and for sexual abuse, for all of these things. And she, wait, Randy, we got to readjust here. We're getting pounded with the rain. But she went through all kinds of
this
therapy
was yesterday,
after
man.
2018
It's not raining today.
to
It's
try
just misty.
and get through.
I think really.
Okay, this is Douglas Wigdor. This is Cassie's lawyer. So I think this is from earlier today. Him walking in the court. Here we go.
We see lawyers leaving the courtroom.
Oh, that was yesterday when he was leaving. Never
Quickly,
mind.
let's listen in here on Live Now from Fox to what's going on there.
In the coming weeks, but I'm not going to give a date, but as you can see in court, she's very pregnant. She's about to give birth, but she's holding up strong. I mean, having to recount what happened during those 10 years and beyond, and talking about her contemplation of suicide, really just very powerful.
What do you think really is the part that got to her? It seemed like she really talked about their love. She really started to break down about how he just wasn't giving her what she needed, and she really felt that they were in love.
I think really just she was numb from the drugs that she was taking and everything that she had gone through, and she realized that she had to tell the truth. And she told the truth in November 2023 when she filed her civil complaint. She revealed that she settled that case for $20 million.
Were you surprised that she said that?
No, that's a fact. And now she's here in court to tell her truth here. So as I said, I've said before, we have great faith in the system. We're going to let the jury decide, obviously, Mr. Combs' faith, but today was just a powerful day. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're just listening in there, calling as you were on the ground. You were witnessing inside.
Okay.
Just looking.
Cross-examination.
All right, cool. So we're still waiting on some. Are they back? Give me a second. They took a recess. They should be back in a second. Look like they still haven't returned yet. I believe this recess was called due to the amount of objections. It's been 5 or 6 objections in like half an hour, but really in consecutive basis since they've started talking about these exhibits, which happen to be text messages that were pulled by Diddy's defense team, and they want to establish this idea. And if we could go back up again, the idea that they're establishing is that, Cassie was very into and willing for all of these ideas in the relationship. Now, granted, they did make a note that this was early on. She said we were loving, we were in love. And maybe they're going to use that to be the thing to say, okay, so you're saying that you were not being sex trafficked because you were loving him, but as soon as y'all start cheating on each other and the love starts to subside, now you feel you're being sex trafficked, even though you could have left at any time. Maybe that's the angle they're going with, but they definitely they were trying to establish a few things. Let me get to posting. I wanted to post something real quick. Give me 1 second. I had no idea about this, by the way. Apparently Diddy must have bought her a chain that said Pop Pop, and she used to wear it. I had no idea. By the way, I think this is when she also has a shaved head. I think this is when she has a shaved head, y'all. Here we go. I'm posting it to the... By the way, the page that I posted to, this is the page. I only post stuff that we should look at on stream. It's not really a blog page at all. Here we go. So, this is Cassie with the shaved head.
So the Diddy and Cassie situation has been getting freakier and freakier by the day. The more and more I hear about these allegations, Diddy is a freaky man, the king of the freak-offs. And Cassie, you feel me, she was young, vulnerable. But like what Ak said, she could have left. Like, Diddy was not holding her well. This is what's hard for me. Allegedly, Diddy wasn't holding her hostage, but she said on the video that came out in the hotel where he hit her over and drug her back, she was trying to leave one of the freak offs. And Diddy said, "Oh no, you're not gonna leave the freak offs. You gotta, wait till the dude, bust a nut, allegedly, then all over you, then scrape it off, go in the other room and rub it on my nipples." That's what he wanted. It sounds so crazy to say, but that's what Diddy wanted. Like, we seen him in the robe. I thought he was just fresh out the shower, but allegedly he was probably butt naked. I'm surprised there was no baby oil on her or him, or she wiped it off. That's why he was so mad. It was no baby oil on. Hey, man. I genuinely feel bad for Cassie. I feel bad for her husband too, because he has to be in court and he's listening to all these things. And I don't really think Cassie's lying about anything. Like, Cassie just seems like a nice girl, probably like gentle, innocent, like, and she just wanted a career. Like, man, I'm struggling here because I want to be very, very honest about everything, like my point of view. I don't think Diddy was the best of best people, and I think everything he did to Cassie was wrong, and it was definitely manipulative and all that stuff. But like, is it sex trafficking though? Like, this is what he's charged for. Like, domestic violence, yes. Assault, yes. Like, probably a bunch of other crazy stuff, yes. But sex trafficking, bro, I don't know if you could say he was sex trafficking. But it's only day 2 of the trial, and I'm gonna be very, very unbiased about every single thing I say. It's day 2 of the trial. Diddy is he's there every day. They say that he's looking white as hell, he's gray as hell. He's, you feel me? They said he was looking at Cassie the whole time, but day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe 2 weeks later, there might be someone else taking the stand, and we don't know how that's gonna go. Maybe like 3 days later, there's gonna be a new person taking the stand, and they just expose everything about Diddy. Like, we don't know fully everything Diddy's done yet. Like, there might have been men that he was having free calls with. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, Act was the line about what he said. Diddy should just came out and said that he was a flexible, bro. He should just said he was bisexual, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And what Act said, bro, all these rappers gotta come out who was around Diddy, like really, really hung around Diddy and was like really cool with him. They need to come out and like, yeah, bro. You gotta defend yourself, your integrity. You feel me? But your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And do you feel like Diddy's innocent, or do you feel like he's guilty? And we're talking about sex trafficking. Like, we're not talking about is he a good person or not. Do you think he's guilty of sex trafficking, Cassie? It's your boy Big Act News, and I'm out.